Good morning, everybody. Well, it's the holiday week for most people. For other folks, it was the last night of Hanukkah, and for yet others, it was the solstice, the longest night of the year and the shortest day of the year. But at our place, there was a beautiful sunset. I don't know what happened over your way, but we had a gorgeous sunset. But it got really cold. So, all that to lead into we're getting toward the end of the year and we're getting ready to kick off a new year beginning. And yet dementia doesn't care. It's like it's going to do what it's going to do. And so recently I was doing some assists with people sitting down, trying to help people see how you could help someone sit down who was living with brain changes. And we got some feedback that was like, well, but you're not doing it with people living with dementia. It's like, okay, we can do that. I mean, the plus is I can stop and have conversations with learners when I have a mentor who can copy and mimic some of the gem state. So classically, Matthew, I find folks that have the greatest challenge sitting down, just the process of sitting down, are people who are in amber ruby state. And the reason they have so much trouble is threefold. Number one, they don't understand what we're saying. And we're talking to them, not sitting down frequently. We're saying, I want you to sit down, okay? Because we're about ready to have lunch. Can you sit in the chair? I want you to sit in the chair. And if we pat the chair, we'll notice they often pat the chair with us. And then we say, sit down, and they walk away. And it's like, because we're really being challenged by the language deficit, but we don't realize that often. We think people are being stubborn or not cooperating. The second is that there can be mobility challenges. At that point, the wiring between the body and the brain could be fractured. And so when I get the sit down part, it's like, but I don't know how to do that anymore. I don't know the steps. It's not in that moment when you ask me to do it automatic. If we could get it to be automatic, it just happens. Nobody has to do. And sometimes I will say, I've had my moments where I say, okay, you're ready to sit down. And somebody starts to sit. It's like, whoa, not yet. There's no chair there. But they got what I said, click. And they did it right away without thinking, which means it's more cerebellar. It's more spontaneous. And then the third part of why this is more challenging is the visual field loss. If I don't see that there's something to sit on, why would I sit? And with classic ways of helping people sit, it's hard. And you're about to see someone who lives in Hillsborough and is one of our teacher partner teams. It's Karen and Brian. And Brian is living with Lewy body with probable significant frontal involvement and also language involvement, temporal lobe involvement at this point. And he has lots of balance movement issues. So what you're about to watch, the first time through, I don't have any idea what Brian's going to do because Brian goes anywhere from I can't figure out what you want me to do to absolutely just sitting on his own. So let's see what happens the first time when I ask Brian, we're talking, and he seems to be getting the rhythm of back and forth. So we got a great rhythm going on. Let's see what happens when we add in movement. Let's just see, because we'll find out when we watch and listen.
So Teepa, I'm curious because I know we have a couple of videos here. So it's sounding like you want to do the one where we get a chance to see some dancing, or do you want to see the one where you approach it first?
Just the one where I approach him and I'm going to connect with him and see if he'll sit down. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Here we go.
Yeah. Let's just watch that one first.
Oh, that's a good hug. We're going to come sit over here. Come with me. Let me see. Ooh. You know what? Ooh, that's right. I think we'll sit right here in this chair. You'll sit here, and I'll sit here. So, there you go.
So,
nice.
Pause. Okay, so Matthew, we'll pause it here. What cues did you watch me give beside the verbal cues?
Yeah, I saw some visuals, some really good, solid visuals. Once you got in the hand under hand and you got into supportive stance, you gave a very clear, let's go this way. We're going this way. We're going to go sit down. you brought the chairs out. We got a chance to see. Ooh, you started going this way, and then it was too bright, and then you changed directions. Ooh, how about over here? Got to the chairs, bringing the chairs out, being able to say, okay, you're going to sit in this one.
I'm going to sit in this one. And then you saw me not let go of everything. Because I know from previous periods that sometimes things go exactly the way that they look like they're going to go. And some of you might have seen Brian another time where he climbs up in the chair. It's like, oh, that wasn't what I thought we were doing. So this time I got him, and then he starts to sit down, and I guide him into the seat, and then I sit down. All right. So now, I mean, that was so easy. I thought, oh, well, that was really easy. Let me see if I could get Brian up again, do a few things, and we'll try it again and see what happens this time. Because this is the frustrating part. It's sort of like when you go to the doctor and the thing, or the auto mechanic shop, and you want the sound, the thing you want the car to do that it's been doing with you, it won't do there. Or when you go to the doctors, the thing you're talking about, well, no, I'm not seeing that. It's like, great. So I thought, okay, well, let's try it again. Only this time, something different emerges. And I'm sort of excited about it because what I know is Amber, Ruby, rhythm is really predominating. And I know that mobility is a real challenge for Brian. I also know that language is a huge challenge for Brian. So let's see what he does in this video, because this is a different scenario. I mean, it's run right after the other, but just watch what happens this time.
You see if you can be persuaded. I love it. All right, you ready, Brian? We're going to stand up. Good. We're going to come out this way. Good. Come this way. We're going to put our hands up. Put yours up with me. And we're going to try 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 1.
So Matthew, if you pause right here.
Stand up.
Oh, so what do you think I'm trying to get with Brian? What do you think my goal is here?
Yeah, it looks like you're really trying to get some weight shifting, some lateral movement, side to side going, and you're doing it by easing into it. You didn't just go straight into, okay, come on, Brian, here, lift one leg, we'll lift the other. You did some weight shifting side to side with the feet very softly, and then you started expanding and the hands going more to one. So really working into that weight shifting.
Yeah, so I know that for Amber, Ruby, particularly, copying movement is the best way to get it. So I put my hands high, wondering if Brian will bring his hands up, because when you bring your hands up, you have to stand up a little bit more. And then when I start this side to side movement, this wiring across the middle can get really tricky, and the vestibular stimulation of all that. And I don't know, because honestly, Brian usually walks around shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. So I'm doing this, and now I've started to add 1, 2, and 1, and 2. So we're about here. So let's see how much further this goes, because I don't know how far it'll go. I'm using my rhythmic language and movement and copying to see what Brian will do with me, because I'm not sure what's going to happen right now. Let's see. Whoa. Ah.
Nice job. Nice job. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go sit down.
Oh, that's a great job.
Right over here.
That's a great job.
Hey, Bryce, have a seat right here. Well, not the dog. We're going to sit. We are going to sit. I'm going to make you look good. Okay, let me have your hand. Over there? No, over here. Right there. Good. And now you sit in this one. I'll sit here.
Okay, pause. So, what language did I choose not to use, Matthew?
So I didn't hear you say, no, 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 not that one. No, wait, no, Brian, listen, Brian, no, here, no, this one, no, Brian. Yeah, I didn't hear that kind of language for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like Brian clearly got some of my message, but not all the message that I thought I delivered. So I'm really curious what's going to happen. And does it really matter in this moment which chair he sits in?
No, it doesn't.
No, because what I wanted to figure out is what happens a second trial of sitting down after I've gotten some stimulation. And actually, he's more participatory with me. He's taking more of a lead. He's the one that started the dancing. He's the one that I mean, he followed up on the clapping, but notice as soon as he went into clapping, he went back into a more down posture, which is super interesting to sort of keep your eyes on as to what happens to Brian when he's not supported. So there's a final video. And so what you've been watching is me working with Brian and Karen on the video camera. Now what you're going to do is watch Karen and I switch places to see what happens with Karen and Brian. Now, here's a thing to know. Brian is right-handed, Karen is left-handed. I'll just put that in there. And it appears that Brian is having more right vision awareness than left vision awareness. You saw it there with the chair, because the chair was more on his left, and he went and got another chair that was more on his right. And so he brought it over, and he sat in the right chair.
The one that he grabbed, yeah.
So it's just interesting to start noticing things so that as I'm partnering, I get to sort of try things out environmentally, interactionally, verbally. So let's see what happens with Karen and Brian. Let's see. We've just done these two other samples, so let's see what happens this time.
With you, okay? All right? Are you ready to go sit down in the chair? All right?
I got your message the second one. I did not.
There's a certain portion of that, or
It's too long. I listened to
and
you.
you have to be bootstrapped.
Okay.
That way, if you expect so much, you know, they have that looks.
They do? Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right. Well,
Okay, so
let's
pause
try
a
and sit
second.
down, make it simple.
What just went on there?
Yeah, so Karen will say, here, I'm gonna sit with you. Let's go have a seat. And now Brian's going into some conversation. Now he's starting to talk about some things that's on his mind or that he's noticing. It's hard to kind of tell
Yeah, you
what
can't
exactly he's saying,
make
but
it
he's
out. But all of a sudden, after this rhythm activity, he's using language, and he's actually making eye contact and having a conversation. There are isolated words that pop out, but not a lot of content. But what really is interesting is how Brian is socially engaging.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about sitting down; it's about having this conversation with Karen. Interesting. So now let's see if they manage to sit down or not, because that was the goal,
Okay.
quote unquote.
Make it easy. All right. Which chair do you want to sit in? This one or this one? Turn around. Let me see. Look at there's two chairs behind you.
Uh-oh.
Which one you want to
So,
sit in?
pause. So what did you notice, Matthew?
Is there something happening like in the background off to the right or whatever? Because it looks like he was
There's
interested in
another
something over there.
person standing over to the
right. Yeah.
right, and Brian the person isn't moving. I think it was Dick, my husband Dick, and I think he was just standing there waiting till we were done to ask me a question about taking the car to get tires fixed or something like that. So he was hanging out there, and Brian saw him and really got distracted. And Karen keeps talking, and she's over on the left, and Brian is totally not listening. And then so Karen's back again. Now she's switched over to his right. Let's see what happens when she makes the switch and she gets in his visual field. Let's see where it goes now.
Which chair would you like? Okay. Yeah. This one? Hey. Is this one okay? Brian? Chair? Which one? This one? Yeah? You did that one already? You did that one?
All right, let's go sit down, okay? You sit in this one, and I'll sit over here. Okay? All right? Yeah, you got this.
Okay, pause, Matthew.
Turn around.
What's the risk that Karen runs being in the chair on Brian's left when she's trying to get him to turn and sit in that chair, turning more to his left?
Yeah, he may miss the chair as he's trying to line up, or he may just get the front of the chair and start to push, but she's not in a position where she could really support well with that chair, and then and supporting him as well as he's starting to maneuver and going through.
Why would she pick the left chair?
That's because that's her side. That's the side that she feels most comfortable on. Yeah, because she's left-handed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. I mean, I think we come out of this okay today, but it's that moment where you realize on the camera, it's like, okay, well, I may be moving quickly. We'll see how this turns out.
Then come and sit down, okay? Put your hand right there, and now you can sit down, okay?
Well,
That's it. Perfect. Awesome.
He made it.
oh, and now he sees the little dog there.
Yeah.
Check. So our mission for today, the point for today for me, was looking at how we need to really think hard about language and mobility and change when we want something to happen. And consider the possibility of visual cues combined with simple verbal cues, and then maybe a physical guidance cue, but really watching ourselves when we're in that Amber Ruby situation, that we don't use too many words, do too much, and instead make sure the transition is long enough and that pause is long enough that someone gets a chance to put it together. And we're in the right place at the right time, just in case something gets misunderstood.
Yeah. Yeah. And Teepa, what's interesting about this too is it expands our thought process and our awareness too of other things. So the idea of the environment being another thing that we really need to consider, because how often do any of you out there, if you've had training before, you probably are potentially looking at this, but when you're supporting somebody to sit or to do something or to transition, are you thinking about, okay, how many people are talking? What are the other noises happening? Who's all moving around on the sides? Because without that awareness or skill to support when that starts to happen and what you need to do in that moment so we can make the switch, you're kind of stuck in that loop of constantly trying to support the person with whatever it is, not even aware of, oh, it's because there's a person standing over here off to the side and they keep looking over at that person, or there's someone having a conversation in the back over there and we could hear them clear as day over here. And so the idea of all of those other pieces as well, and being able to recognize that and build the skill to be able to recognize that so that you can support the difference it can make.
Difference it makes. All right, everybody. So that's the message today, is we make a difference. And the difference we make is using our awareness, knowledge, and skills. So a few options coming up. We do have the GEMS information on our website. Matthew will give you a link there. We have the GEMS card. Gem State card, which has on the front information about what you might notice about the person, and then on the back, what are some ways we can offer support. And then, of course, we have our Care Partner Support Guide, the revised version, just recently out this year. And then finally, for the first time in a while, we are offering a Care Partner Gem series that starts in January. And it'll be 6 sessions, 2 hours each online, where we'll be getting together every month for the next 6 months, going over some details related to various GEM states and ability states. And we'll be using the GEMS workbook, GEM State workbook, to go through that. So as part of your course, you'll receive that workbook in addition to some video clips that we'll be using. So those are some options coming up in the new year, but you can also get some of those things right away if you're interested. And a lot of them, there's no fee. That's not our goal, is to provide that awareness and knowledge. And if you really want to dig in, you have to commit, and you have to contribute a little bit, just as we do. So till next time, take care of yourself, take care with your care. If you have questions, send them in. We're trying to work our way through some of them. And we're using friends of ours and partners here in Hillsborough to help us answer some of those questions. So till next time, take care all.
Thanks, Teepa. Bye, everybody.